video to practice your listening and comprehension as I speak. So, today, I'm going to talk about procrastination. I imagine that this is a relevant topic for a lot of you because many people have a tendency to procrastinate. So, what is procrastination? Well, this refers to the action of delaying your work until a later time. For example, let's pretend that you have a task that you're expected to complete by Friday. Procrastinating on this task might mean that you start working on it on Thursday. You postpone or put off this work until a later time instead of doing it earlier. This habit is widespread. People procrastinate at school, at work, and in their personal life. And for the most part, procrastination isn't necessarily a good thing. Let's talk about some of the ways that procrastination can creep into our lives, and we'll talk about how we can kick this habit. Alright, first, let's talk about procrastination when it comes to school. In my experience, I find that the vast majority of students put off their assignments, projects, and preparation until the last minute. For example, when a teacher would assign an essay that was due the following week, my classmates wouldn't even begin until the night before. They would pull an all-nighter, as we say in English, and try to do it all in one go. In this area, I can honestly say that I never procrastinated, but I was practically the only one. When I was given an essay to write, I would split the work up evenly and write a little bit each day. Let's say I had 7 days to write an essay, and the essay was supposed to be 10 pages long. What I would do is divide 7 by 10, which is 0.7, and I would use that as the metric to know how much I needed to write each day. I'd write 0.7 pages each day, and then, by the 10th day, I'd have my essay finished. Instead of cramming all my work into one day, I'd space it out in a way that felt much more manageable. I never stressed out about having to do a ton of writing on the last day. This is one technique that you can employ in your own studies. Try to do an equal amount of work each day, and then you won't have to work against the clock to try to get your whole assignment or studying done in one night. Now, let's talk about procrastination when it comes to work. There's a common tendency to put off undesirable tasks until later. While in the moment that might seem okay, later on, you often end up regretting that decision. For me personally, when I put off an important task until later, I often dwell on the fact that I haven't finished it yet, and I dread having to do it at a later time. In other words, I don't even get to enjoy the time that I spent not doing the task because I'm thinking about the fact that I still have to do it later. I'm sure some of you have experienced this as well. In my opinion, the best way to avoid procrastinating in this way is to do your most important or difficult task first thing in the morning. This is an important concept that can really change your life. Suffer now so you can enjoy yourself later. It takes a lot of discipline and willpower to commit yourself to doing the hardest task first. But after you finish it, the rest of the day is smooth sailing. Alright, lastly, let's talk about procrastination in your personal life. Maybe you have some goals you want to achieve or things you want to do in life, but you never actually get around to doing them. Well, one thing you can do to change this is to be more specific with your goals. For example, instead of having the goal to get good at English as soon as possible, make your goal measurable. How about be able to hold a conversation with a native English speaker by the end of the year? This goal is actually something you can visualize, measure, and accomplish. Don't be vague with your goals. In this way, you can actually plan and take steps towards this concrete objective. Okay, now I'm going to ask you 3 questions about today's video. Write your answers and a comment down below. 1. What is procrastination? 2. What's one way to avoid procrastinating at work? 3. How can you improve your personal goals? Okay, that's all for today.